Hello and welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. It's a glorious sunny day up here on the hilltop. Not a billow in sight. I hope you're having a glorious sunny day too. If you're enjoying our funny little show, why don't you recommend it to somebody you know, or give us a rating or a review on your podcast app of choice. As always, you can find us on Twitter at Billowing Hilltop. You can find us on Facebook, and you can email us at hello@billowinghilltop.com. I have no other news or information. Thanks for listening, lovely, loyal readers. Let's push on with, frankly, slightly odd set of adventures in the strange rooms behind the weird thing in the whispering what's it in episode 91 of the Billowing Hilltop podcast. And thanks, Nate, from Dyson Desire for the name. We've only just begun. This is going to be episode something or other. I think episode 91.
91, bloody hell.
I know. That's a fucking mad thought.
That means 100.
It's just round the corner.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Good morning, readers. Welcome to the Billowing Hilltop podcast. I'm here with Dan. Hello, Dan.
Did I say
Lucas,
you could talk
hello,
to me?
Lucas.
Did
Greg.
I give you permission?
No.
Johnny. Hello, Johnny. Paul. Hello, Paul.
Good afternoon, evening, morning.
I mean, the cheek of some
Squeeze in,
people.
everybody. Squeeze in, readers. You can just join us.
Actually, not
pick a
sit
spot.
next
There's
to
plenty of
Johnny.
space.
No thanks.
Paul's had a difficult medical week. More of him has been removed. As a result, there is more space.
There's very, very
Everyone.
little of me left.
I'm a little distracted. I can't stop looking at your bag, Paul.
Is it still bulging?
It's quite distended.
Within its folds, I know that there are some letters.
I prefer not to call them folds.
We've had a very nice letter from a lady called Alison in the United States.
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Did you know this?
No.
Yes.
Yes.
Did.
Well, I'll read it to you because she said we could read it out. I was checking, I know we joke about the fact that we have 12 readers. We have a few more than 12 readers
14.
now. I
15.
I quickly checked. We have a listener, we have a reader in every state of the Union apart from 5, which is not bad.
Which 5?
West Virginia, Alaska, New Mexico, the 2 Dakotas, and Rhode Island, where I suspect they're too posh for D&D. Gentlemen, I'm so thoroughly enjoying your podcast that I decided to send a note. I heard about your show while listening to the lads of Royal Britannia. They are another podcast, other people. And I am so grateful they suggested you. I play both D&D 5e and Pathfinder 2nd edition, and I enjoy hearing the influence of Paizo in your speech. You all say hitting armor class 12 instead of that's a 12 versus armor class, or that's a 12 to hit, among other things, and I like the unique diction you have. Also, I've learnt about Morris dancing, the phrase come a cropper from listening to you. If I'm ever able to visit, I'm not quite sure how that would... I shall sound like a native. Oh, see, just visit the country generally. I shall sound like a native. I am only up to episode 12, and I see that you're up to 81 now. Well, this is 91, Alison, we think. I'm thrilled to have so much listening ahead of me. Just think about how many British phrases I will know by then. One last thing, I adore the songs you've done so far, and I look forward to any others you've done. Well, there is one being worked upon, but slowly. You're very talented. I'm not quite sure who she's talking about there.
Yeah, me.
And your podcast has sounded very well produced since the first episode. Congratulations on 81 episodes, gentlemen. Thank you for making life sweeter by sharing your game. Lots of love. Alison, how about that?
Bravo. John.
That's very nice.
That's an actual...
Thank
Did
you,
you write
Alison.
that, Mike?
No, I didn't write. I did write back. And we've had a series of messages. Thank you, Alison, for all your very kindly received. We won't go through all of them now. But I will say, Alison, as you listen to this, you will by now have learned that, yes, we did keep Johnny as a player after Grimbold's demise.
Finally got some sympathy.
She'll buy you
And
a
you will
pipe,
also
Johnny.
now know, to add insult to injury, Grimbold's corpse has been reanimated as a zombie. Used as a
It's in my bag of holding at the moment, I think.
There's to be returned to Buggy's bag of holding.
That is the thing about
exactly.
Johnny.
Under the
He's so
influence of,
sentimental.
well, it's in the bag of holding, but it's still, so far as we know, it's under the influence of that, whatever it is, the mad crown of thingy.
Oh, yes,
if it
we're
was
going to
wrong.
wait for it to run out, hopefully.
Yep.
Or
Yeah,
the Animate Dead will run out at some point.
or will it, Johnny? That comment tells me,
I think it's
leaves little
24
room
hours.
for doubt, Johnny, that you've not read the you've not read the spell.
When I read it and
Or the
forgot
memo.
it, but it's something about 24 hours.
3
Yes,
and a
24
half
hours. There is a 24-hour
years
thing in
of
there, Johnny, but-
Experience.
There is a critical gap in your understanding about what happens after 24 hours, and I suspect it's probably a wise idea if you check,
Okay.
because it's maybe not what you think.
Hmm.
Right, we are in a bit of underground something that's connected by a weird portal of some sort to the Whispering Cairn. Where we left things, you were being attacked by the floor of a chamber which has got a gallery around it. Parker is up in the gallery, exploring, investigating. Burple is up in the gallery. Alessandra has climbed up to the gallery around this chamber and has actually found a new way on, down, up, somewhere. Anyway, in the doorway of this chamber, though, at ground level, are Uncle Buggy and Sessions.
Mm-hmm.
The floor seems to sort of rear up and hurl a pseudopod at Buggy and Sessions. But I have good news, because I've had a bit of a look at the details, and I don't think that the floor can attack you just like that. I think it's just like that. That's not right, actually.
I don't
Just
remember
like
it attacking
just like
us at the beginning of the last session.
I think that this thing has to sort of form itself, and I think that will use any action that it had. So I think we just roll initiative and see where we are.
And the sphere of annihilation is some distance above it.
You think it's a sphere of annihilation. It looks like a sphere of annihilation, but you don't know that it definitely is a sphere of annihilation.
Well, I'll touch it, see.
You would have to reach out quite a long way to do that, Burple.
I'll stand on the wobbling floor and
Yeah, you can stand
ride
if you
it.
jump. Yes, this thing is big enough.
Yeah.
You could climb onto the back of this
On the
amorphous-
pseudopod, as it raises itself up, make it easier.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Take clothes
What's
off
left
first.
of you could then make a grab at the sphere to see what happens.
Yeah, okay.
Sounds good.
I'll do that, yeah.
Right, I'm going to clear the board. Let's clear the board.
This black mass of goop,
Yes.
is there something Paul's left behind?
This is not.
No.
Not one
So
of Paul's.
this is not a byproduct of Paul's extensive surgery.
No.
Nor is it
Cleaned
all
out
that's
his
left
drains.
of Paul's
It's
cheese
not,
tasting
it's not the
weekend.
thing that he had to call the council about.
No.
I think it might be the thing that he was arguing about whether or not to cover it in cling film or
Cellophane.
in foil.
Neither.
Wax paper.
Wax paper is
Wax
the
paper.
answer.
These
Yeah.
are fascinating subjects.
Right.
I have actually
I'm going to roll
been
initiative for this
sending
thing.
like examples of cheese that begin with CH.
What you've been
Cheshire.
sending me, basically, is
Cheddar.
a rogues gallery of the products of playing God, twisted science. That's what you've been
Send you
sending
some
me.
particularly
One of them was described as mealy in texture, slimy, orange and brown.
What was this word?
Again,
Slimy.
Something
That
that
was
sounds more to
brilliant.
do with like Paul's other hobby. This thing's rolled an 18 for initiative. That's not bad, but I suspect that it's incredibly slow. It is incredibly slow. Okay, so I can put that in. I have initiative for it.
Paul gets a 23.
Are we all doing initiative?
Are we not?
All of us.
We're all there.
Okay, it's just
Apart
I'm not
from
in the same
Sessions.
room.
Sessions gets a 9. Bloody hell. How's that even possible?
Alessandra gets a 13.
Not bad.
13 for Buggy.
Oh dear. 8.
And so Lucas's evening begins.
As it so often does. With a poor dice roll. I think
Lucas.
the irony here is that
Well,
We-
I don't care. I've just been.
Lucas is incapable of rolling a number above a 6, but
Yeah.
gets more chances to do so than all of the rest of
Yes.
us combined because of Parker's
Well,
absurd.
he likes to use his Hawk dice early.
Yeah. Oh,
It
yeah.
does.
Lucas, I'm going to change your name to Marvin. Oh no.
But he's not paranoid. He genuinely is unlucky.
The first million years were the worst.
I did the Highgate Cemetery tour last weekend, and he's buried there.
Oh, is he?
Yeah, he is. Yeah.
Oh.
It says 42 or something on it, doesn't it?
Has a kind of pot of biros rather than flowers in front of his.
Yeah, that's right.
I love deadlines. I like the whooshing sound they make as they fly past. That's my favourite quote of his. Right. Burple on 20.
Time is an illusion, lunchtime doubly so is my favourite.
Yeah.
Does this thing
That's
look
actually
like it is within attack of opportunity range?
This thing is big. This thing is, in fact, technically, I think it's either huge or gargantuan.
But it hasn't had an action yet, so I suppose...
You're 15 feet. The geography of this, again, I'm sorry, readers, we haven't got the budget to look at the planning for some of these environments. Somehow you are 15 feet above the floor, having walked up a 5-foot staircase.
Right.
So it's not really a staircase, it's more of a ladder.
Yes. Okay.
Irrespective, it would seem cruel of me to penalise you for the odd shortness of the staircase. So I'm saying you are 15 feet up. You don't think that this thing can reach you.
Okay, but we're not in a surprise round or anything. We're in a full kind
No,
of...
you can do whatever you like.
No.
Within reason. Keep it,
Not sure there's much I
Clean.
can do to it.
It's just a giant black blob. It looks cross. I mean, to the extent that I don't know quite
Of course it does.
how you would
Yeah,
know that.
yeah.
Well, it's got,
We discern its
worry
crosses.
lines or something. Yeah.
So I could do a daylight on it, but I'm not sure that will have any effect.
Can I actually, can I just stop you there,
Okay.
Burple?
Mm.
Can you make a
No.
A straight intelligence check.
With my massive intelligence, I get an 8.
Luckily, it was an easy intelligence check.
Mm.
Well, you're not certain that this thing doesn't look like it can't climb pretty well. So you don't think it could reach you from where it is, but I just realised that it's probably only fair to sort of say...
Yeah, no, I'm going to be moving. I'm just thinking, if I have a full round, I can move and do a spell. So I could do the daylight and then move. Or I could just get the hell out of Dodge and run away.
We didn't have a recap. There was a spider last week, by the way. Readers, do you remember the spider? Sorry, dropping that in there.
This place is weird.
Yeah, it's a bit weird.
It's really weird.
It's very weird.
There's another thing, which is that there's a furnace behind you.
Yes, with some voice.
Sessions. We're sort of high-pitched. Hello! I don't have to go out there again. I can't get the voice right. Hello! That's more I could... Oh, no. I can't do it.
No, you can't. It's awful.
Ghastly. It's ghastly.
How much movement is going up and down this ladder?
It's difficult ground, so it costs you 2 squares to do the 1 square.
Okay, so I could get round the corner. I could do a spell and get round the corner. Or I could go and join Alessandra on the ramp, but that feels like it's a trap to me. So...
Feels like it's a trap.
Yeah, it does feel like it's a trap. I think the whole thing feels like a trap, to be perfectly honest. So I will do a... What? Why are you laughing?
It's a sort of sympathetic laugh of understanding.
Yeah.
Which sounds like the name of a ship in
Dean
Banks.
Yes, it does. I'm going to do a spell. I'm going to do a fairy fire. And then I'm going to withdraw on the thing.
What's the saving throw?
The saving throw is a dexterity save, DC 15.
I'm pretty confident that it's going to fail this save. Getting...
18.
Well,
I mean, just...
it does in fact save.
It's one of Mike's things doing a saving throw. I mean, why do you
To be
even
honest,
try?
it looks a bit embarrassed. But there we go. The dice
Why
looks
even
embarrassed.
try?
I'm embarrassed.
Creature.
We're all embarrassed. It's not our final. We don't. I don't know. It just doesn't feel right.
Okay, that's my round.
Marvelous.
That's my
It's
round.
it.
My fantastic, effective.
Right, well now it can
go.
attack. It's going to go for Sessions and Buggy, and it can in fact go for both
Yeah,
of
of
them,
course.
because it has 2 pseudopods.
I'm only a scrawny little
Yeah,
old
but
man.
Sessions is a scrawny little young man.
Yeah, but what about your
so,
character?
You know,
By comparison, I look much scrawnier.
Sessions is
you and Sessions try to have a
portly,
scrawn
tasty.
off at this point to try and look the, the least appealing.
Yeah.
Well, it doesn't work. First thing it does is it tries to smash Buggy with a pseudopod, adding a number to this attractive dice. I think missing. Hitting armor class 17.
No.
And a pseudopod going for Sessions, hitting armor class 13. So 2 pseudopods are wobbled at you, and they both miss.
Technical term.
And I think it's quite cross. It'll squish itself up towards you. It sort of reconcentrates its puddingness
It's a black pudding.
and sort of swerbles towards you. It looks like it's keen to get through that door. Alessandra on 13.
Alessandra's going to, because she's on this area called the ramp, so she's going to move back diagonally 5 foot. When she does so, could
Your dark vision shows you this ramp quite steeply descending off to
Yes.
your east. It's colder as well.
really what I'm doing is just putting myself a bit of distance away from this black thing, but can I still see it from where I am, given the ramp slope and everything?
It's a 15-foot gallery we've established. So I think that Pythagoras would have something to say about that. Not that we'd understand him, obviously.
In which case,
I speak ancient Greek.
In which
Oh, you
case,
do?
she won't move back. She'll move forward until she can see the black puddingy, and she will take
Yeah.
a...
Well, you can see the far side of it from where you're standing.
Well,
I
she'll
think.
just take an attack at it, hitting armor class 23.
Well, I mean, yeah, that's, 100% a hit.
So that's the longbow damage, not brilliant, of 6, but because there are allies within 5 foot, I think we can say there's a sneak attack going on there.
Yeah.
That's a further 20 points of damage, so a total of 26 points of damage. Yeah, and then...
Piercing damage?
Yep, piercing, and then she will...
Give me a perception check.
Ooh.
Okay,
9.
fine.
Natural 1.
Uncle Buggy, you can give me a perception check as well, as it's your turn, but you can also give me a perception check.
No.
Oh, here we go.
Okay.
Oh, here we
Fine.
go. This
Yeah,
is where
yeah.
it's going to be, isn't it?
Setting the pattern for a very pleasant evening. with
Mike
Mike.
rolls every save above 17. We roll every save below 6.
Yeah, something like that. Uncle Buggy, what would you like to do? This thing is rearing up in front of you in all its puddingy, dark malevolence.
I'm going to do a shatter spell on it. I'm going to do it as a
What does that
third
do?
level spell. So
Right,
it's 48 damage.
it shatters it,
and
Mike.
I'm going to use my Destructive Wrath, which maxes out the damage.
So it's going to do 32 points of damage, is what you're saying.
DC 14, Constitution save, 32 to half.
Yeah, just do it.
Let's see what we get. We get a... no, we don't get enough.
No.
So it takes the full force
32
of your shatter
points
spell.
of thunder damage.
It doesn't look very happy about either what Alessandra did or what you did.
Ah.
Ah.
Are you staying where you are?
Can I move through it as a hobbit? Can I jump over it?
Might be able to jump over it. I don't think you can move through it.
Yeah.
It's like running through the legs of large creatures, right?
Yeah.
Ducking and weaving. This thing, you'd actually have to basically
Yeah.
literally run through it.
No, I'd
Yeah.
like to make my ring of jumping and jump over it. As long as I'm not going to go through the sphere of annihilation in the process.
Let's say you can avoid that and you can avoid the chandeliers. Where do you want to end up?
I'm jumping across the other side of it. That's 30.
Yes.
How high is it up to the balcony?
It's 15 feet to the balcony and there's a railing that you could kind of grab onto. But you would be leaving it threatened square.
Yeah, okay. I'll get a pseudopod. So
Okay.
I'm moving up to the bottom of the balcony. Then I'm springing up. I can move 15 foot up to the top of the balcony.
Let's just see if it hits you with the pseudopod first. Oh, hitting armor class 26.
Yes.
Okay, well, you take the following damage. Ooh, not very much. 7 points of bludgeoning damage.
Yes.
And then you take 4d8 acid damage.
Each through your armor.
Well, we're going to get to that, yeah.
I don't
You
think
take
it affects
24
my
points of acid damage.
Shit. Fucking hell, you fucking bastard.
Oh, don't, you know,
Sorry.
Well,
family
that's
show.
not very nice.
family show.
What's Alison going to think?
Sorry, Alison, about
Sorry, I
this.
won't get a free pint
She
after
did
all.
refer to us as gentlemen.
Yeah,
She
well,
used
maybe she
language
meant
like that.
gents, as in,
Did she?
as in the
Was she
facilities.
listening to a different show? Do you think?
I think maybe she was listening to Royal Britannia. It's like a professional, proper show with like proper audience and everything.
Proper characters.
Maybe she's
Oh,
got
you're
mixed up.
dissing our audience
you know.
now.
I mean, proper as in an actual audience, like
As in-
thousands of people.
Right.
Not proper as in the quality of the individual members. I don't think we could speak to that. People use the phrase "speak to." I don't know if I want to speak to that issue. It's like,
Oh, what is that?
let's stop.
Use grammar properly.
Are you
Awful new
wearing
euphemism.
magical armor?
I am
Buggy?
wearing magical armor, so I don't think it affects me.
No, you're right. It doesn't affect
I'm
you.
always right.
Well,
So I've been playing D&D for 43 years.
Oh my god.
yeah, don't we know it?
44 years.
I can feel every
Sorry, how long?
minute.
44.
Well, so you got it wrong.
So
in
you
the
got it
first
wrong
place.
in
You
the-
just
yeah.
literally
Well,
got that
it's
wrong.
my
First
birthday.
thing that came out of your
so
mouth
it
was
was
wrong.
about 1 year.
Of course I'm right. I've been playing
Always
D&D
right.
for
Read the rules
43
for
years.
Animate
No,
Dead
that's
properly.
wrong.
Oh, sorry, it was just slight recalculation because it was my birthday a couple of weeks ago.
Did
I
you start
need to
playing
add an
D&D on
extra
your
year.
birthday? Anyway, let's not get into that.
No, I think we should.
You're on the gallery, yeah, Buggy. Shall I tell you something about that gallery?
Yeah.
Behind you, there are double doors. They're marked with the arrow of law. And on either side of it, there is a fresco, a very faint fresco that Parker only could really make out the details of when he got as close as he is now, showing a sort of mechanoid creature, giant constructed thing from the plane of Mecanus, you think, reaching for a stone being carried by glowing golden figures with 3 runes in the farty language of the Wind Dukes, sort of around it in the picture.
Okay.
There you go. Sessions on 9. Sessions, would you like to make a perception check?
I get 15 perception.
You noticed something that Buggy and Alessandra did not notice, which is that Alessandra's, is it an arrow?
Yes.
Did not survive its interaction with
The creature.
the blob.
Right.
It got eaten.
It
Got dissolved.
It bubbled away to nothing. It seemed to impact, but then it,
Acided.
Which is
Then
what's
it-
going to
it-
happen if you hit it with your
which is the
melee.
high point of its little arrowy life. But from that point onwards, things went downhill rapidly.
Yeah.
Tricky decision here for sessions.
Well, it's not often. Readers, you can't see this, but only Sessions
is
is
near-
standing
So
What?
next
no,
to this giant thing.
Sessions
Sessions
is
is
not, still
toe-to-toe.
not in the room with it though.
we attacked him last time, so I'm thinking that I'm going to retreat, reposition
Hold the
myself
fort,
to...
Sessions. Hold the fort.
Yeah.
Now you're trying to remember what those blue dots on the floor mean.
But I remember that I've got Broom of Flying, so actually I can fly
You
over
don't have to worry about that. Well,
or around the squares anyhow. I think they used to trigger the statue thing, so I'm going to avoid them. I also think it's had an attack of opportunity, so it probably won't have an attack of opportunity on me, since I think it only has one reaction. So the first thing I'm going to do is move away.
Okay.
Flying backwards towards Burple to the statue, and then
it doesn't swipe at you.
And then I think during my movement, since I'm going to break up my movement, I'm going to cast a spell, and I'm going to try and banish it. So I needed to make a charisma saving throw DC 16.
I think we can all guess about what its charisma save looks like.
I'm hoping it's rubbish.
You're going to roll a 17 on a blue dice.
Yes.
You're saying that in order to make it not happen.
Yeah, that's what we're trying.
I'm just predicting.
Its charisma save is absolute pony. Okay, here we go. It's completely failed.
Okay, so if the target is native to the plane of existence you're on,
Okay, yep.
you banish the target to a harmless demi-plane.
Right.
While there, the target is incapacitated. The target remains there until the spell ends.
How long does the spell last?
If the target is native to a different plane of existence than the one you're on, the target is banished to its with a faint popping noise returning to its home plane.
I don't know that I have a definitive answer to that, but it doesn't matter. The point is it vanishes, right?
Yeah.
For how long, Graham?
Well, about a minute.
It goes,
Well, we
And
can
then-
move on.
and it's off.
Where do we want to go? We've got a minute.
Well, let's check the doors.
Is it concentration up to 1
It
minute?
is concentration up to 1 minute.
So we've got 10 rounds to do stuff.
Right? And where does it come back? Where it left from?
Yeah. Or the nearest unoccupied space if that space is occupied. Otherwise, the target... Oh,
Oh, okay, excellent. Everybody has to... This is going to be good. Right.
hang on. Otherwise, the target does not return.
How does that?
Yeah, let's check that one.
We need to know which one it is. The wording is slightly different.
I don't think it's from another plane. So it's in a harmless demi-plane.
So it's coming back.
Target remains there until the spell ends, at which point the target reappears in the space it left or the nearest unoccupied space of that space of occupied.
I wonder if we can occupy all the spaces so that it has nowhere to come back. Can we occupy
No,
all
we'll
the
occupy
spaces?
every single space
Yes.
on the...
Summon a whole load of, things.
Yeah, things that count as a creature. So
Yeah.
bees or something. You basically need about 20 trillion bees.
Mm.
Get them to all spread out across the entire face of whatever plane of existence
Yeah, we
you're
just
on
get some
at
rats.
5-foot intervals.
Learn to talk to them and say, okay, you stand there, you stand there.
It's a busy minute.
Mm.
Anyway,
Anyway, I'll
let's
shut
not
up.
dwell upon that whole thing.
Let's consider that a success.
Right.
Parker, what do you want to do? We'll kind of go round in the sequence, but we won't worry
Right.
too much
Well,
about
I was going to unleash my fangs
We've all
of the
been
fire
spared,
snake.
yeah.
On Nick.
Thanks, Graham. If nothing else this evening, you've
Or dice
achieved that.
bonus.
So what are you going to do?
Well, so
Okay.
now I will actually carry on. So I was in the middle of investigating the chandeliers,
Yeah,
if you remember.
I do remember.
Did the
Yeah.
orb react in any way to this?
No. The orb is a silent, unresponsive orb.
Okay, so there was nothing like it sort of moving up to allow the blob to move out, or
No,
okay.
nothing like that. No.
Just so happened the blob was there. Okay, and now the blob has gone. Is
Mhm.
there anything on the floor which would, for
floor
instance,
was a
below
black-
directly
it's-
below the chandeliers, some kind of holes or something, or anything to indicate that the chandeliers have, connection to the floor?
There was clearly a recess or space that the blob was sort of squished into in the centre of the floor, an irregular
Right.
pit. There's no clever markings or anything that seems to correspond to either the sphere or the chandeliers on the floor. No.
So my plan was to go round and look at all the pictures on the walls as well, and it's very, very difficult to see if
I
there's
know.
some kind of mechanism to be activated here in this theatre of the mind without actually seeing this.
I have something on that. You mentioned last week
Yeah. Pictures would
that
be
it would be
good.
very helpful if I had some pictures that I could
Mm.
show you. So I thought about that, and I decided that I couldn't be bothered.
Right.
Ah.
So obviously, okay. Right.
Looking at this scene, you don't see any sign of any kind of mechanism. You don't think there is a puzzle to be solved. There is
Right.
no lever, configuration of the chandeliers. I don't know, anything. It just looks like it's 4 chandeliers with carvings on them that light up.
Do I sense that by concentrating on the sphere with the talisman in my hand, that I can
You need
cause
to
the
attune
sphere
to the
move?
talisman.
up or down?
You might need to attune to the talisman, you're not sure.
Attunement's going to take 10 minutes, right?
The only thing that definitely represents something is this representation of this mechanoid reaching for this stone, a seal, not a seal. That was Fuzzy Bear, that wasn't a seal. What sort of noise was a seal? It doesn't matter. That definitely feels like it's telling you something. The rest of this looks like it's just, I don't know, interesting to look at.
Does anybody else want to take a look at these runes?
Yes.
Okay.
Sure.
And then I guess that it would be sensible to get out of that room attuned to the talisman.
Well, why don't we check these doors, see what we can glean in the minute that we have.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to count it too assiduously, but yeah.
I mean, I
let's
assume you'll
do a
tell
minute's
us
worth of
like,
stuff.
when... I mean, I can get out
Yeah,
there
I've got
in
neck
one
timer
round.
here that I've started.
Yeah.
When I feel that you've done about a minute's worth of stuff between you, I will
Right.
give you a little bit of a warning that sessions feels like, stuff's about to happen.
Yeah.
So can we try and interpret these pictures and runes?
Yeah. So you have a look at
Yeah,
that.
give me a... have you got Arcana?
No.
I do.
I mean, it's an Arcana check or a straight intelligence check. Obviously, if you've got Arcana and you've got proficiency, then you might be a little bit more, that might be
I'll
a bit
go
more
with straight
useful.
intelligence, and I
Okay,
I've got
no,
Arcana.
so you're looking... Yeah, go for it, yeah.
9.
You've already recognised one of these runes. It's the rune for Icosior. The other two runes you are not so sure about.
I think Alessandra is going to head off back down the ramp and check further down, because she never really made it quite far down. So she will make her way towards the end and see what she can see before she, as we know from the map, she's going to go underneath the passage. She's also got her wings of flying, which she's not using yet, but...
Yeah, I was looking at the wings of flying question, by the way.
Were you?
There's a lot of chat about wings of
I
flying.
didn't realize there was a question.
Well, the question is, it's not a question that I'm particularly bothered by, is about wingspan.
Oh.
It's a sort of a bit of a killjoy question, to be honest. What happens if you try and fly down a passageway that's only 2 foot wide? That kind of question. Anyway, we'll worry about that another time.
Bat wings or bird wings?
My view is, let's not worry about it too much.
Yeah, I thought it was just, they're magic. It's a magical... You're not...
Yeah, you could be like little cherub wings. That's what
Yeah.
I'm thinking, like little Renaissance, like putti or a cherub in a Renaissance
The
painting.
act
Anyway,
of flying is magical rather than physical.
you've got 60-foot dark vision.
Yep.
Okay, so you can see, I'm just going to move you to the other map, just very briefly give you a glimpse of what you can see. It extends and continues to slope down off into darkness.
Okay.
The further you pad along or fly or whatever it is that we're going to do, the colder it gets.
Well, I'll keep going.
How far do you go?
Well, if it's still firmly gradiented.
It's still gradiented. You could see that the passageway levels out and opens out.
Mm-hmm.
You can see some columns. You can see the base of some columns. You can also see a very dim, greyish illumination now. Almost so dim that your dark vision kind of messes with your ability to perceive it. It's like something weird is going on. You can't see the source of the illumination, but you're looking down a slope at a floor as it flattens out.
Okay.
Want to keep going?
Yes, but I want to start doing stealth checks because I'm going to start moving stealthily.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm just checking something. Give me a moment here.
Ooh, I get a natural 20, so I get a 31.
Right, well, you're incredibly silent as you push on. How much further do you want to go?
I'm going to go to 5 foot back from the opening out.
Okay, well, you can see a certain amount if we do that. You can see a chamber. The chamber is dotted with columns. You can see the bottom of 2 chandeliers that are shedding a weird grey light.
Okay.
More
You
chandeliers.
can see,
Yeah.
and more double doors and more stairs. So, all round, the news is not good. You've got columns running around this chamber. It's about 50 foot long, this chamber, and probably about 40 or so foot wide. So it's quite a large chamber. Opposite you, why don't I give you a bit of a description?
Go on.
Since Wolfgang Bauer gave us his time in order, right? He gave up time in order to write one. Let's have it.
Mhm.
Let's have it. Give me a moment here, Geezer.
Is that what he wrote?
Can you give me a survival check as well,
Survival.
Alessandra, as you pad down this? Yeah.
3.
No, fine, okay. So it's a rectangular room. It's small columns around the edges, as I've described. There are carvings on the walls. Difficult to make out because the columns partially obscured. There's a pale, strange grey light glowing from 2 large wheel-shaped chandeliers, casting overlapping shadows throughout the room. Weird sort of grey shadowiness that's a product of the columns, the weird light from the chandeliers, all of that. There are blue metal double doors at the top of a flight of stairs opposite the entrance that you're at. So some stairs run up opposite you, up to about, 10 feet up on the far wall, and at the top of those stairs, blue metal double doors, guarded by 2 warrior figures with raised double swords.
When you say raised double swords,
I'm thinking a sword in each hand that's raised.
Right.
You do recall the others mentioning something about some strange wind warriors they fought when they first visited the cairn.
Yes.
And this does seem to match your understanding of what they were talking about. They're carvings, they're not actually warriors,
Yes.
they're carvings on either side of the doors. There's also a single doorway to your south, that is on your right, halfway along in the middle of the wall.
Yeah.
And there are double doors to your north, that is halfway along the wall to your left, also apparently guarded by these carvings of warriors.
Okay.
Should we pop back to the others?
Yeah.
I will follow Sandy.
Who?
Okay.
Alessandra.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Sandy.
Who?
Do you want to try and be quiet or not?
No, not really. Clomp, clomp,
Burple,
clomp.
Sessions, Parker.
Just trying to decide what to do.
Try that door.
Okay, I'll try the door
One
next
heading
to me.
north.
Yeah.
It's got a Tony latch handle.
Tony Latch
Which is
handle.
the-
Yep.
Tony latch handle wrote the theme for Crossroads, I think.
That's my next character's name. by the way, Tony Latch handle.
ding.
Dear readers, Crossroads was a soap in the 70s, a very cheap and daytime.
And the famous theme music was actually written by somebody called Tony Hatch, but I think Tony Latch handle's better. Anyway,
Right.
maybe his, originally he was called Tony Latch handle. He changed his name to Tony Hatch because people were trying to open him all
Well,
the
I think
time.
Tony Latch handle was a pseudonym when,
Yeah.
when he wrote the TV
for
series.
his erotic fiction. Right. Anyway, do you want to try it, Sessions?
Sure.
It pushes away from you. Do you want to push it?
Sure.
It opens,
Ah.
Sessions. This is not going to make your life any easier. I can tell you that right
Explosion goes
now.
off, you lose your concentration, you're attacked by the black pudding.
worse.
It's worse than that.
There's a chamber. It's only 10 foot deep and 20 foot wide, so you're coming in at the side of it. Yep. It's a well-appointed room with a delicately arched ceiling, Sessions. The walls are painted with garden scenes featuring, you think, 2 Windduke lovers.
Oh, okay.
The centre of the room contains a large urn with a dark red glaze and gold decorations.
Mhm.
6 small boxes, each carved of some black substance, bound with corroded metal, line the back wall, and chairs sit in each corner. Now, I don't know about you readers, but I do know that if I was in an adventuring party looking at that room, I could easily spend an hour just,
Being scared of
wondering
it.
about whether or not,
Yeah.
whether or not to step into it at all.
Well, I'm
Right.
remembering that I'm trying to concentrate, not lose my concentration. I will wait till, Parker
Yeah.
or Burple
Do something.
do something.
And we will move back to Alessandra and
Right.
Buggy, who we will kind of deal with together.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think this is a retreat from here for now. Rejoin the others, so
Yeah.
that we're not on 2 fronts. Although, do these chandelier things look similar to the chandeliers up?
They look like much more standard, basic affairs.
It's okay.
So we've got a room with pillars in it, double doors to the north, single door to the south, 2 double doors guarded by statues, which kind of makes me think this is the right way to go. Mike also I failed a survival check, which makes me think of I failed to spot footprints, meaning Hesty might have come this way. They've got so many possible areas of exploration, it's just a matter of which one do we choose to go first.
Well, the ramp looks like a good bet, to be honest.
Yes, I think so.
Do you reckon? Down this way?
Yeah, I do.
I'm quite happy to continue being probe.
Yeah,
Check it out.
as long as you're at the front.
Well, looks like is that a door to the south?
Yeah, there's a single door to the south, double doors to the north.
Well, I would check those out, but we'll come and join you.
What's going on in this complex? It's weird.
It is weird. Yeah.
Strange man.
Okay.
Gonna get weirder.
Boom.
It's very, very strange. Very strange.
All right. If we're out of round sequence and back to Alice.
Yeah, I mean, we're doing a minute's worth of activity, so,
Yeah.
I mean, I think we're not miles off a minute, I think.
Well, if I've got the time, I will stealthily make my way to this door.
Yes, make your stealth check.
Make my stealth check to the door to the south,
Mm-hmm.
getting An 18.
Fine. Can you give me a perception check,
I'll give you a perception check.
please?
Oh, not so good. 13.
That's good enough. You're working your way into the chamber. I'm going to allow you to sort of backpedal a little bit. Yes?
Okay.
And you realise that, remember I said that the shadows were odd?
Yeah.
You don't have to go far into the chamber before you realise shadows are actually, as it were, material.
Alive.
They're not alive, but they're like their filaments. They're like their webs, Alessandra. It's like strands of shadow spun between the floor and the columns and the ceiling that from the doorway it looked like it was a strange network of planes of light and shadow cast by these odd chandeliers. But now that you're actually interacting with them, it's clear that they are really actually there.
It's really something to do with the spiders, the strange, I can't remember what they're called.
I'm saying that you don't disturb one. You get the opportunity to not progress into the chamber as you realise, just as you're about to sort of step into what you thought was a bit of shadow, that actually you were going to pass through something which is not physical in the sense that it's not like a piece of tape.
Yeah.
But you definitely feel it's a thing. You could kind of look at it from all sides. It doesn't change its nature when you move your head. It's not a shadow.
Mm-hmm. What are those spiders called? Plane shifting.
I told you it was going to get weirder.
Plane shifting spiders.
Phase spider.
Phase spiders. Yes, we talked about phase spiders. But the little visitor last time. Well, not little, giant eight-legged visitor. Buggy, want to do anything while Alessandra is doing that? The others? Are you packing up?
Packing up?
Well, I mean, as it were, are you breaking camp in the other level and coming to join these two, or what do you want to do?
I'm moving a bit closer.
Yeah.
I still
you
feel
can see now that
Alessandra is a bit should still be a probe. So
okay, I mean you can see now that Alessandra, assuming that Alessandra, points this out, you can clearly see that these shadows are not behaving like normal shadows. Oh, I will.
They're not shadows, as in undead shadows.
They're not moving. No, it looks like they are thin areas of shadow cast by the chandeliers until you start moving your head and you get close to them and you realise that they're actually there, like grey planes of shadow that run between different surfaces. Buggy and Alessandra also, obviously, I must reveal the area of the chamber that you now can see that you couldn't see before because you were tucked in the doorway. It doesn't tell you very much. It just squares off pretty much as you were expecting. Parker, Sessions, Burr.
Well, I'm heading down the ramp.
Yeah, I will follow Alessandra.
Okay, well, if everyone else is going, then I will follow as well.
Okay, I'm going to say that that's the minute.
Okay.
I think that's fair enough.
Yeah, close the door behind us.
Yes, you can close the door behind you. You hear...
Bloop.
You hear something go... Parker. And... and Sessions Epa. You can all be assumed to be in the passageway behind Buggy and Alessandra. The chamber is as I have described it. What would you like to do next?
I'd like to do a little dance.
Muffled by the door, from behind you up the slope, you hear a voice going,
Hello.
So where are these shadowy things?
I'm trying to think of there's a the thing that's closest to is the bridge in Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, where it's a bridge that's set to look like there's no bridge when you stand at a particular angle, right? And then he skitters stones across it. Well, it's in the same sport, if not the same ballpark as that.
Where are we? Where are they?
Filaments of shadow strung between the columns and the walls and the ceiling and the floor. They're actual filaments of shadow that are fixed things, like little spider webs.
Yes. Okay,
You'd have thought it would be very difficult to make your way across the chamber without making contact with any of them.
Yeah, understood.
Why don't we back up a bit?
Back me up on this.
I can shoot an arrow through them to trigger whatever's there, and then we can take it on in the corridor.
No, I think these... okay, if they're spider's web, then it might summon the spider.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
We're going to have to face it.
Well, they might do something by themselves. It's all I'm thinking.
If we're going to proceed this way, we're going to need to trigger them anyway. There's no way we can get through this without triggering them.
I could do with another heal at some stage or other. I'm on 39 hit points.
Can do a heal if you want.
Okay.
Although Graham's got a happy stick, it's probably better.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'm going to say to everybody, I'm going to move back 5 foot, so I'm at the end of the corridor, but within the corridor. And I'm going to say to everybody, I'm just going to shoot an arrow through in about 5 seconds' time. So if you want to get to where you want to be in that time, is everybody where they want to be?
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay.
I guess.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to shoot an arrow to hit the base of the steps, basically.
The longbow.
Yep.
Draw your arm back, draw a bead on the base of the steps. You let fly the arrow, shoots through the air. You can see it interacting with these little filaments of shadow as it passes. Not snapping them, but passing through them. Mm-hmm. Definitely disturbing.
Yeah.
And your arrow darts into the base of the staircase.
Mm-hmm.
And as soon as it does so, you see in the far corner more filaments of shadow start spreading incredibly rapidly out of that corner, building themselves up into a sort of funnel, a sort of area of darkness that very rapidly expands and grows and sort of comes up to kind of engulf you, and we'll find out
lovely, yes,
what that means when we pick things up next week.
Entire week of wandering.
Who'd have thunk it?
Who'd have thunk it?
Seems like the week before, an area of darkness swarms up and about to eat us.
The Billowing Hilltop podcast is a Billowing Hilltop production. Dungeons & Dragons is a trademark of Wizards of the Coast. A Gathering of Winds and Age of Worms are copyright Paizo. A Gathering of Winds was written by Wolfgang Bauer. Music is from Kevin MacLeod and Incompetech.com and is used with thanks under the Creative Commons license. Additional music and sound effects come from the wonderful Sirenscape. All other original material is copyright Billowing Hilltop. Role-playing games are all about getting people together, and we use Roll20 as our tabletop, the perfect place to host your game, and Discord to host our chat. Thanks for listening.
Are you looking for a D&D podcast with a dark side? Something more like Game of Thrones and less like Monty Python? Tale of the Manticore is part dark fantasy audio drama, part solo D&D RPG. There's no plot armor here. The dice make all the important decisions. Join me as I resurrect the excitement, wonder, and emotion of old school D&D. Made for a mature audience, Tale of the Manticore is both a fiction and a game. It's the story where chaos rolls.